And welcome back, everyone. This is the week of What If. And from Shadow Shin, we have the question of what if the tail beasts existed within the Monsterverse? We'll actually shrink this down just a little bit. It's like, hey, look, there's a monster. There's Godzilla, there's Kong, they're all like, I hate you. But okay, so there, yeah, exists in the Monsterverse. Now, how do we make this work? Because obviously they're not the same as the Titans of the Monsterverse. And I have had this brought up before with people who didn't agree with my take on inserting a character in a What If. With characters like Sonic and Mewtwo when I put them in the Dragon Ball Z universe. I didn't make them a natural part of the universe. Like, Dro did not create Mewtwo. Sonic was not from Dragon Ball. It was more like they showed up in that universe. That's how I did that. And the honest answer is that was just the way I chose to do it. If you choose to make them a natural part of the universe, that's fine. But the tail beasts fall into an odd category because if I fundamentally change them to be titans like Godzilla, Kong, Mothra, etc., well, now they're no longer the tail beasts we know. They're not sentient masses of chakra anymore that took the form of beasts, have their own unique abilities. They're now radiation titans that, just probably have a lot of energy, and maybe I can still transfer their abilities over, but they're just not the same type of creature. So what I'm going to do is essentially half and half it. They are titans within the universe, but they are unique among their universe. Unlike the rest of them, they're probably fine with radiation. They can tolerate radiation fine. But like when Monarch starts keeping tabs of these particular titans, they notice that their energy signature doesn't match other titans. It doesn't match radiation. It matches some unknown energy, aka chakra in this case. So there's that. But first up, where are these titans? Where have they been? What's their lore? The lore. I actually think that, okay, so long ago, back in the age of the Titans, there was a primordial beast, a creature of great power and destruction. Little is known about it, but it was known to bring calamities wherever it went. Through a massive struggle with many other Titans in the Great War, it was defeated, and legend claims it was divided into 9 other beasts that housed the entirety of its power. Its power spread out between 9 different beasts, and those beasts have been lost to time until now. That would be the general lore of it. The Ten Tails is actually still a thing in this world. And in fact, you can go even further. The Ten Tails was still brought by extraterrestrials in this world. By either the aliens from Planet X, by whatever. Otsutskis in the way that they work here. But anyway, the Ten Tails was still a thing and was still defeated by, some of Godzilla's ancestors. Maybe it was one of the only times Godzilla and the Kongs teamed up, but it was brought down ultimately. And so its power was spread across these 9 tail beasts. Shukaku, Matabi, Isobe, Sangoku, Koku, Saken, Chome, Yuki, and Kurama. Now, that being said, what would the code names be? I think you can still make these codename Titan, because it's Titan Godzilla, Titan Kong, Titanus Kong, Titanus Shukaku, Titanus Matabe. But where are they? Because they've been slumbering. They've been sleeping a good while. And what I came to the conclusion of is the lower half of the list, and I mean this in the sense of how many tails, how much energy they actually have. Shukaku to Koku probably do exist on the surface somewhere. But the stronger the stronger half of the list, 6 tails, 7, 8, and 9 tails, they are probably somewhere in the Hollow Earth. And so, where are the other 5 right now? Shukaku almost certainly is either in like Mongolia or the Sahara. I put my money on Sahara. He's probably sleeping, maybe honestly, in a pyramid. Matabe, because she's made kind of a living fire, she's probably resting. I could see her resting somewhere in like a mountainous region, in like a cave system, maybe even near someplace near more volcanic. Isobe. Now, here's the thing. Isobe is based on a turtle, but he seems to actually be based more on a snapping turtle than a saltwater turtle, a sea turtle. So while you could make an argument that Isobe is resting somewhere in the ocean, I think it's actually more likely he's resting in someone like the deep, like maybe honestly, Loch Ness. He is in fact the reason for the Loch Ness lore, because Loch Ness is big and deep. It's not the deepest lake in the world. Honestly, if you can find the deepest, give me just whatever the deepest lake in the world is, and that would be where Isobe is probably sleeping. Son Goku probably has been sleeping in more of a jungle-like area, maybe somewhere in the Amazon, possibly somewhere in Africa, somewhere there, more than likely. And then Kokui, I can never pronounce his right. It's not Koku, is it Kokuo? I think it's Kokuo. The five-tailed dolphin horse, which is what he is apparently. He, I think, is a very interesting. I think it's very likely he's hanging out somewhere near a volcano because his ability is steam. He does have the ability of steam release, and he also has the ability to kind of do a pseudo baryon mode. It's just not the same as baryon mode. So ultimately, that's where they're probably sleeping. Now, should note, I don't think these tail beasts right now, these titans, are relevant at all until in the first part of the Monsterverse. For example, I don't think they are relevant in Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island. Hell, honestly, I could totally see Son Goku actually, nesting up, but being one of the only active tail beast at the moment. He actually could be on Skull Island. That would make a lot of sense. He's rough, actually, size-wise. I'm trying to think how big, because not all the tail beasts they're all in the roughly same size range, but how tall is the four-tailed beast? How tall is the four-tailed beast? Okay, so Son Goku is roughly, or apparently it says he's approximately 570 meters tall, 0.9 meters tall. Of course, that's from the AI. Shikaku. Okay, no, but I've got no one here saying that Shikaku is somewhere in the neighborhood of 475. Oh, no, so that's Shikaku. Son Goku is... Oh, no, okay. So I've got more than one source saying he's around 570 meters tall. Meters to feet, because we know how tall Kong actually is in feet. He's roughly... he was under 300, roughly speaking. He was like 200 or something like that, and then he grew to be almost as large as Godzilla. So, hold on. Meters to feet. I always bring this up once in a while. Meters to feet. So, 570.9 meters roughly translates out to... Maybe if I take the meters part off there. Wait, whoa. I'm sorry. 1,873 feet tall? Look, I know they're big, but I'm going to call bullshit on that. Yeah, no, I don't know where someone's getting that calc from. But the Nine Tails isn't even 1,000 feet long. Because the Nine Tails is well over 100 feet long. But if you include the tails, maybe he's 1,000 feet long. But are they factoring in the tails? Is that what they're doing? Because there is no way on God's green earth that the four-tailed monkey is almost 2,000 feet tall. I'm sorry, that's a load of shit right there. Because apparently Kurama stands at a height of roughly 300 meters. At least that's which is about 984 feet tall. That is still debatable, but I can still believe that, especially if he's standing on his hind legs. So there's no way Gyuki, there's no way Son Goku is 2,000 feet tall. So, but that being said, he's still big. In fact, that's another thing too. A lot of these guys are really tall, but honestly, Shikaku is a perfect example of this. Despite the fact that Shikaku is arguably the weakest tail beast in terms of just sheer chakra, he's roughly the same size as a lot of his kin. I mean, Kurama is larger, but not by much, to be honest. Same with Gyuki, yeah. Some of them are larger than him, but they're all roughly the same size. And Shikaku is nowhere near that tall. Nowhere near that tall. He's a good couple hundred feet tall, sure. So I don't know where they get the size comparison on that. But anyway, either way, he's actually pretty happy. Like, he made his home with the Kongs. And honestly, one of the changes that can be made is that the Kong species is still very much alive. And that Son Goku maybe even imparted some basic chakra techniques, like transformations to the Kongs to learn how to mold chakra. Now, I don't see them spewing lava or even like doing a Rasengan, but maybe, enhancing their abilities with chakra to compete with the Zilla race a bit more. Mind you, a lot of the Kongs did get killed off, at least on Skull Island. Mind you, we also know there's plenty of Kongs down in the Hollow Earth. But Son Goku probably stayed up on the surface to help the few Kongs he could, and probably has actually flat out killed most of the major skull crawlers, including the big one, just using lava release and his own intellect. So right out the gate, when they meet Kong, his parents are still there. They invade. That changes things up a bit, because now Son Goku probably does spend a lot of time like sleeping, maybe communicating with the Iwis, because that's another huge factor here, where Godzilla and Kong aren't actually very intelligent for creatures like themselves. Kong can learn sign language. Godzilla is at least capable of not maybe understanding human speech, but at least sympathizing, communicating, all that, just on some level. He's clearly intelligent in his own way. The tail beasts can actually talk. They are intelligent and sapient. That is a very big contrast with the other Titans. And so when we get to the events of Kong Skull Kong Skull Island, and you get like you still get Kong probably taking down the Vietnam helicopter and the expedition. They start wandering, and eventually, after some time, they do, and maybe there's still like the big one who's been hiding this whole time. The big one comes out, and Son Goku, who generally keeps to himself, doesn't do a lot, senses what's going on, sees Kong struggling, and maybe Kong's parents are still dead. Admittedly, maybe Son Goku wasn't able to get there in time, and admittedly, the big one is big. It is big, even by Son Goku standards, it would still be big enough to pose a physical threat to him on some level. But when he sees Kong down on a down and out, they show up, and that's when Son Goku basically comes in and just poof, smashes in, like a lava ball comes in, just hits the skull crawler in like the face. Just, it's like, what? And they just see the poof, poof. I thought I was done with you. I thought it was done with your kind. You were able to hide. And it's like, what the? Is that thing talking? Kong. And Kong just like, Kong. And Kong can understand what he's saying, too. He's probably spent enough time with it. Are you all right? I know. I know. He caught you off guard, that's all. You have to be more... You still have a lot of more training to do, my friend. And so, and then he looks, so these are the visitors the Iwis told me of. Hello there. My name is Son Goku. Do not worry. Do not worry. I will keep you safe. Excuse me. And then smacks him with grass and his tail, starts throwing it around. It does make bite on, and just suddenly like makes it this called lava style, lava bullet. Just burns this thing alive. I was like, what? I was like, how are you talking? Same way you are. I'm moving my lips, and speaking. And he explains how we are different among the Titans. There are many Titans out there, but me and my kind are different than them. Your kind, there are 9 of us in total, and most of us spend our time sleeping. Honestly, the Hollow Earth is where most of us make our home. And so, Son Goku would explain to him the whole situation of what happened is like where maybe he came from. The memory of our existence is fuzzy, but I still remember some things, including where I came from. And so, though the legend tells us, and all 9 of us were to merge our power back in the one, the 10 tails would come back. And so he tells them the legend and warns them about, possibly what could happen. And so we know ultimately that no one would really come in to do much. Honestly, even he does stop Monarch from making initially from trying to set up a base there, but eventually when the storm starts to come in, even Son Goku realizes like no, and it says Kong, we need to do this. It's like if the island is going to be destroyed. And so, him and Kong basically kind of just waited out until the events of Godzilla versus Kong. And with the events of Godzilla versus Kong, it's like we need to move. Could you? Godzilla's going on a rampage, and um, and so when they hear about Godzilla, like Son Goku perks up when hearing that Godzilla, the Lizard King. Not granted, he probably doesn't know him as Godzilla. To be fair, because whatever the Kongs know, like name-wise, know the Zilla species as, it's not Godzilla. That's what we call them. Same like the Kongs. They aren't known as the Kongs to the Kongs, nor to Godzilla. It's like Godzilla. And it's like, I've been sensing a disturbance. And here's the thing, because of chakra and because they don't function the same, Son Goku would communicate towards them that he can sense, yes, is like whatever he calls Godzilla. Let's just say Godzilla. He's rampaging, but there's a reason for it. There's the energy out there, something that isn't right. It mirrors when the three-headed demon came to the sky, or came down. So what? So you're saying it's not just random? No, he's looking for something. But we need to stop. He's gonna just keep destroying it. Could you be? I don't know. It's like Son Goku. Could you stop him? Are you or Kong stop him? And Kong's just like Kong may be the apex, but he's an alpha, but he's really not. Goku can still easily beat his ass, even if Kong has now grown larger than him. Son Goku is still far more intelligent and has lava release. And Son Goku makes it very clear because where legendary versus Godzilla scales is still a little debatable, but we know he can literally blow a hole through the planet's core if he wants to. He can literally get all the way down to Hollow Earth without too much difficulty and make it relatively quick, and still be able to fight Kong without that much difficulty, and still even running on empty fight it out with Mechagodzilla for a little bit. So where he lies in terms of actual power is debatable. It is implied that the Titan Data Star tanked a meteor is Godzilla. So we know this Godzilla can survive, extinction level feats. We know he's got some level of planetary level power, and we know he kind of in the DC crossover, because his atomic breath mirrored kryptonite, he was able to take down Superman temporarily. I'd say at minimum the lower half, and if we're rounding down or up, whatever, probably can't deal with Godzilla. They just can't. Like, again, when you're talking about sheer power and radiation versus chakra, and I think that's a note that Son Goku says, like, you've noticed our energy signatures differs from the other Titans. That is because, and there's no firm answer. We don't even have a firm answer as to why we're different. We just are. The only ones who might be able to handle Godzilla would be my two eldest brothers, Yuki and Karama, but they're slumbering in the Hollow Earth right now. But still, we need to get Kong out of here. It's like in case even Yuki agrees, or Son Goku agrees, he's right. We need to go. And so they agree, and they don't. And Yuki's like, "Is there really? You don't need to bind us. We're going willingly." It's like, yeah, no. And obviously, you get the dummies. Like, we're not trusting you. It's like, I have not been your enemy for better part of a century. You really want to do this now? Or for the better part of almost 2 seconds. Well, however long he's been there. I've been your enemy pretty much since the beginning. So you really want to do this now? And so eventually they go on the ship. They try to like get out of there, but then Godzilla finds them. Now, Yuki, I keep saying Yuki, that's the Eight Tails. Son Goku does fire out magma to kind of like harden throw magma at Godzilla just to keep him at bay, but Godzilla obviously blows up like the ship. Like he's fighting 2-on-1. Kong sadly just doesn't have his axe right now, and even though he can do some chakra fisticuffs. It's not enough to take Godzilla down. And even Son Goku knows very well that we're in his element. We will not be able to win this fight. And so he like distracts Godzilla with a big magma ball that kind of like goes in his face, and Godzilla and kind of backs off. And more or less, they still get out of the water. It's like, damn it! It's like, we'll be fine. They make it to the edge of the Hollow Earth. They go in there, and again, Son Goku still tries to explain. Like, again, he's looking. The one you call Godzilla, he's looking for something. I can sense it, but it keeps disappearing every time. Godzilla rampages, I can sense it as well. And so they go into Hollow Earth. They're still attacked by the war bats, but they take care of them with ease. They go and they find the ancestry of, or what's the remains of the Kong species. Finds the axe, all that, and Gina roars, and eventually Godzilla senses that and blows a hole through the Hollow Earth. Now, that hole blowing up in the Hollow Earth, I think, is the catalyst that sets off the remaining three. But they don't show up until, honestly, after Godzilla Supernova. Not after Supernova, or after Godzilla New Empire. I think they're kind of alluded to in there. Really, Kong goes, Gyuki tries to stop him, it's like, no, crap, and it's like, we need to go. And to be fair, when they try to steal the power, like the energy source, and Gyuki's like, I'm sorry, you're going to do what now? Don't try to stop us. That's exactly what we're going to try to do. It's like, yeah, no, you forget. I actually know what you're saying. And so Kong and Godzilla still have their fight. Now, because Kong does have some chakra here, you'd think he might actually win this fight. No, I think he does better. I think he does honestly, a fair bit better. But honestly, Godzilla was going easy on him, frankly, most of the time, until he went full-on aggro on him at the end there. And Son Goku eventually does get to the surface, just like Kong did. Eventually, basically to see the Mecha Godzilla attacking, helps Kong get back up. Kong struggles, and then obviously again, Son Goku using lava release helps burn. I mean, unfortunately, if that thing is as durable as we think it is, it probably could survive magma, but it is able to injure it, and they're all struggling. Eventually, they bring it down. Godzilla, recognizes them, and they kind of all go to live in the Hollow Earth. Looking for other members of the Kong species, finding the Iwi tribe again. Now, we know Mothra hatches in Godzilla New Empire, but alongside her, Chome awakens as well. I think Kurama and Gyuki are kind of in the deeper parts even further than what we saw in New Empire. So really what this comes down to is, in the final movie, whatever that would be, or the next movie after Supernova, we essentially get all the tail beasts finally awakening. And they, we've been monitoring forever. Why is it happening now? Why is it happening now? And they're just like, because something's coming. And then the Monsterverse, we know aliens do exist. Ghidorah's an alien, flat out. He's extraterrestrial. A meteor comes down and comes down, and it's revealed to be a ship. Now, we could do aliens from Planet X, or we could make it a little fun. Maybe the aliens from Planet X are Otsutskis. And it's like, so what happened here? Where is this planet is still alive? Where is the Ten Tails? It should have been seeded eons ago. It's like, something's gone wrong. I'm picking up dozens. No, maybe, and we actually don't know how many Titans there actually are, but there's at least dozens. At least dozens of unnatural chakra sources. Or chakra sources. They depict it as chakra. It's radiation in this case. And they go and they find, I don't know, Titanus. Pick one that's not been killed. Like not Manda, not Scylla, but maybe Titanus Bunyip. We know that was one they find, and it's like, this is not a tail. What is this? It attacks them. They're just they're all taken back by this, but they're ultimately using their weaponry and whatever skills they have that isn't maybe true Naruto magic. Break it down. Now they do end up capturing, I think, a couple of them. They capture Isobe, Matabi, maybe Shikaku. It's Son Goku who picks up on it and goes to the Kongs and even Monarch for help. was like, they're coming. They're collecting us, and they're going to destroy us. And they're planning to re-merge us together. And so this is where ultimately Gyuki and Kurama come into play. They wake up sensing the threat. It's like, brother. And it's like, blasted humans. No, this is something different, brother. You can feel it, can't you? It's them. And Kurama doesn't want to hear anything of it, but even he's like, damn it. Okay, we gotta go. And then obviously, eventually the aliens come. The tail beasts are trying to fight off. It's like, no, we will take your energy. We'll take you back first. And eventually it comes down to just Yuki and Kurama, kind of like it did against the Ten Tails initially. And we will take your energy. And the energy starts to get siphoned off. They start resisting, only for an atomic breath to come in. And there's Godzilla. It's like, what is this? It's like you. They thought they maybe took him out with like sending another Ghidorah after him. Like they brought one with them, not just a Ten Tails, but a Ghidorah. Only this time, this Godzilla we know is a way more amped. So this one like literally just annihilates and incinerates the heads clean off, and they can't even regenerate. It's like, you again. And then Godzilla and Kong shows up. He's got his glove and his axe. And it's like, we've siphoned enough. Yeah, we've siphoned enough of their chakra. Just a little bit of it is what we need. Come forth, Ten Tails! And they just, or the Ten Tails, pseudo Ten Tails, not a full-fledged one, emerges, and they just square off against this thing, and the epic battle is on. Kong grabs the tails, holds the tails, so does Gyuki. Now, Kurama fires a tail beast bomb at the Ten Tails, but it fires one back. Huge explosion, only for it to get suddenly a tail to get ripped off by the atomic breath of Godzilla. Godzilla charges into the Ten Tails. Boom! And Godzilla is big enough to literally throw around a Titan twice his size like Shimu. I keep hearing people say that Shimu could be the Alpha Titan over Godzilla. I'm going to tell you right now, no, she could not. Not after New Empire. Godzilla literally undid her storm with just a shot of his atomic breath. He actually could not throw her, but literally could muscle her around. Like her breath froze Scar King solid to the bone, and he shattered on impact. Whereas when it froze Godzilla, he was just stuck for a little bit, and he broke out. So no, if Godzilla actually wanted to kill Shimo legitimately, he could do it. Now, if we're talking about Godzilla, like earlier Godzilla, like when we first meet in 2014, that's a different story. That's a different argument. Shimu probably was the stronger of the two. Just as Ghidorah, at least in that first interaction, had the edge, and then in the water, Godzilla had the edge, and then he got amped, and then Godzilla versus Kong, he's even more amped, and now New Empire, we got this. So if it was beginning Godzilla that we met early in the first movie, sure. But Godzilla currently, no. Shimo cannot take that Godzilla in a fight anymore. Godzilla has evolved beyond her at this point. Still, and honestly, that's another thing. Shimo probably gets involved too, because it's like you got to defend your home, you got to defend your turf, your home. So Shimo's like firing ice, freezing the Ten Tails up, just constantly doing it. Godzilla brings his atomic breath, starts attacking it, and they keep noticing like, oh, the Nine Tails and the Eight Tails are one thing, but these beasts, they don't use chakra. What are they using? And finally, then they realize the beam radiation comes right in, just slices through their ship. Ah! And one of the Otsutsuki's still alive. Say it's, I don't know, Momoshiki or whatever. I don't give a shit. It's like, you blasted! And all of a sudden, looking down, and there's like there's Kurama just staring him dead in the face. Just, I was like, no, your power will be up! It just kills him. So now they're going up against just the straight tail beast. And they got to put everything they have. Power of ice, power of tail beast, power of atomic fire, power of everything everyone has. And it's one final clash. And initially the tail beast bomb overwhelms them, but Godzilla's radiation being something different, and the ice helps kind of slow it down, blast through, and it's Godzilla's atomic breath. Honestly, this is where the red spiral ray could come in. I could totally see that. So So I can totally see Godzilla going all the way, maybe even somehow activating burning Godzilla again, and just boom! And then all the power comes in, and the 10 tails is just kind of erased, or Starlight burned away. But as he's being burned away, the other tail beasts are kind of splitting apart, breaking out of it, destabilizing the tails, and they're broken out of. And so the day is saved. The tail beasts are free again. They even said, as long as we're left to our own devices, you guys are not in trouble or anything like that. And they even look at Godzilla being like, respect. Like Kurama's staring Godzilla down, Godzilla's staring him down. And Kurama says, you might be able to beat me. You might be stronger than me. But I have neither the time nor the ego to try to test it right now. It's like new rival unlocked. But the nod of respect is given for both of them. And so they go their own separate ways. And that's the end right now of the story of the tail beasts that's the end, period. I could do it one more, like I could go even further for whenever Destroya comes in. Because let's be honest, we know, eventually the Monsterverse is probably leading up to a version of Destroya. Man, do I want to see that other effort with their effects, today's effects? Destroya? Oh, hell yeah, I want to see Destroya. Oh, yeah. Honestly, Heisei had some of the best creative decisions for creatures. Absolutely, for kaiju. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.